I'm so excited. I know we're all excited about this. I've got my turmeric in me. Kelly, you got some ginger in you. Nate, I don't know what you got a little something going on over there so that we can get some extra energy. I don't think we need any extra energy for this announcement.
Nope.
No, just the announcement in itself. And we lit our partners and first cohort members in on this new development yesterday. So they were the first ones that insiders to know about this new exciting development at Legacy and an addition to our mission. So who wants to kick it off? Who wants to start about who y'all know I always like to run my damn mouth, but I'm gonna let one of y'all go first this time. Kelly, you want to share what this new evolution is, this new announcement?
Well, I won't share the new announcement. I think that was a labor of love, and that's your baby, and I think that you did an amazing job with that. So I'm gonna leave that to you. But what I will say is, on 2 nights ago, 2 afternoons ago, we brought all our partners together to meet all our vendor partners together to meet our cohort members, and it was chef's kiss. We had partners from Liminal, Spectrum VoIP. We had obviously Talaris, Steven Stoll was in the building, so that was amazing to kick us off. Granite, Telenium, and then we also had Agile Blue. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but nope, I think I have everybody. So, it was a really, really amazing conversation that we were having so that our cohort members could really see the energy and time that it took to put together a technology ecosystem as they go to market with their customers and solving their customers' needs. And so it was really, really neat to have all of us in one room together and really understanding the vision behind the technology piece that we curated here for our partners. So that was, I think, for me, that was a highlight of the week, in addition to this
Yeah.
announcement that we're going to make.
I think that's a great point to bring up, Kelly, and great energy to start this with. And Nate, what did you think in terms of what happened a couple of days ago and kind of that experience for our cohort and for our suppliers and partners? What was your takeaway on that?
Yeah, I think after months of communicating the vision of Legacy, that the housewarming and the kickoff made it real for everyone, for all of our partners. It's one thing to see it in PowerPoint. It's another thing to see the power of our suppliers and our Big Five in action. And I think that made it very real for the cohort as well. I think the momentum is evident. But the thing that stood out for me is asking the question of the cohort, hey, what's the impact and the power of seeing these technology providers on the call with us as suppliers, as partners, as trainers? I think that made it real for them. Whether you think about the product offering, where each of those offerings sits in the competitive landscape, and just the fact that you have all the support on the call supporting Legacy, doubling down on our mission as allies. I think that was very powerful and made it real for the cohort.
Yeah, no doubt indeed, and it really the reception to this announcement and the evolution of our mission that was received very well, and it was really exciting to not only bring everyone together, but to be able to share the reason behind this expanded mission and kind of get buy-in from everyone and understanding that why this is important. So, with no further ado, I'll go ahead and let the cat out the bag. So, our mission in Legacy started with a seed of altruism, right? And really a desire from the three of us to make impact and to help people that don't get access to this industry, to help them with a path for entrepreneurship and for creating that legacy that they're wanting to create for themselves and their families. So it started with this seed of altruism, but it's always rooted in for profit. I always want to make that 100% clear with everyone. This is a for profit entity. This is we are 100% about serving, but serving with profit in mind for all those that are involved. We want everyone to be involved to have very successful outcomes and financial outcomes. With that said, as we were going through the process of vetting cohort members and launching Legacy and seeing all the great energy from our community and our extended community, it had become clear to us over the last several months that we could serve at a higher level and we could serve a larger group with the same tools, the same resources, the same methodologies that we've put in place for our initial group. And so it is with great excitement that I'm happy to announce that we've expanded our mission to include women and people of color. Our initial thought process was around serving people in the Black community, which we know their journeys intimately because we've experienced those journeys, and so we wanted to serve the group that we felt we were the most qualified to serve. But again, as we've launched and as we've heard the stories and as people have come to us and wanted to participate, it became very clear that the journey of women and other people of color in this space is aligned with the initial group that we had set out to serve. And so it only made sense after we had discussion and we weighed the pros and cons that we would bring those groups into our experience. One, because we can serve them, and two, because we feel that they will bring another level of diversity, another level of experience and community to our cohorts. And ultimately, that's one of our pillars. That's what we're about. It's about education, it's about access, and it's about community. So the more diverse that community can be while having the same philosophy and having the same North Star, so to speak, we feel that it will bring that much more value and impact to our cohort members in helping them in their journey to be successful. So that is, ta-da, what we're doing. And I would like to, let's go ahead and, Nate, I'm gonna kick it back to you and then kick it to Kels. Like, what are your thoughts around this evolution and this new expanded mission?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I think it's a natural progression, as you said. I think we've gotten resonance along the way, right? Keeping in mind that we've been building this business one brick at a time for almost 2 years now. So from that perspective, to be out at conferences like Channel Partners and Channel Futures, and if you remember, we've all done panels together and individually and gotten that same feedback. This is not something that is a new concept. I think it's a bold step in our development and growth as we think about impact. And we are here to serve the entire channel. How we do that is what we're talking about, and in terms of first steps of legacy. And I think it's just a natural progression of what we've done. I think the mission has not changed. I think we can have a broader impact as it relates to community building. And I think that we're here to, as you said, create access, educate, and create a sustainable, durable business around this channel. So I think we're poised for success, and I'm excited about it. But it feels very organic to me, and I know that the momentum is pulling us in this direction. It's not even a push. Momentum is pulling us in this direction.
Kels, what are your thoughts?
Look, I think I'm glad that we identified it in our mission, but I kind of think that, kind of to Nate's point and earlier your point, it's who we are. We're going to help the community that needs the most support, and I think that it's a layer into who we are as a business, what we're trying to accomplish, or what we will accomplish as an organization. And so it's just a natural progression. Obviously, I'm a woman, I'm a people of color, but I think that it's important, and the stronger that it makes us more stronger as an organization as well. And so, we when we are walking around at these conferences, everybody from all walks of life come up and they're excited to meet with us and excited that we have stepped out and done something that maybe they thought about, but they, maybe didn't have the courage or didn't know how to do. And so, layering them into the fold and helping to support them as they continue to grow is going to just make us all better, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. And so, in this case, it's going to lift the legacy boat in addition to our entrepreneurs or our cohort members that are coming that we're bringing up with us. So I'm just excited that we can expand our reach more officially now. But yeah, I think we have been wanting to do this. So yeah.
Thank you both and thank you for not only the support in this, but like this was a frictionless thing for us. It came, like Nate said, it came very organically, because while we are a for-profit entity, we are rooted in service, and so these are groups that we feel we can serve. So what's next? So here's something I want you all to think about. So I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with a senior level executive for one of the larger technology service distributors. And in that meeting, for those that don't know, in my business, I'm consulting, helping people to build businesses, scale their businesses, sales training, all those sorts of things, helping to grow big companies. And one of the communities that I serve intimately is, of course, the channel community, and helping with suppliers with training and things of that nature to make their technology advisors and their partners better. So one of the things that I talk about often as I am positioning the solutions that I'm putting in place for these companies is the failure rate in the technology channel. And while there is no official number, I will tell you that on average, this has just been my experience, and most that have any familiarity with this business will be able to connect with this. 10%, 90% of partners are not going to be consistent, or agents are not going to be consistent performers and not going to be able to make a real business out of this. 10% maybe stick, and that means they're producing some level of consistent business. Now, I want you to think in that 10%, the bigger group, right? Let's say you have 100 new businesses in this space. We're saying only 10 of them are going to have some level of consistency. That doesn't mean they're going to crush it. There's only going to be 10 that have some level of consistency. How many of them, of that 10, do you think are actually, back to the 10, the 100, how many of the 100 do you think are women owned or people of color? Very small numbers. Very small numbers. So now you look at the actual success metric, which is 10 of the 100, and I don't mean they're crushing it. I just mean there's some consistent revenue. You have only 10. And I can tell you, having been in this industry for so long, and Kelly can say the same thing, that of that 10, you might have 0.0005 that is a person of color or a woman. So think about the challenge that people are facing as they get into this business. Now, I told you I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with a senior level executive, and you know what that senior level executive told me? Who is someone that knows the numbers. This is someone that is in the numbers and has known the numbers for many years. That person told me that my number was high, that it's more like 4 or 5%. So 4 or 5% of people starting businesses in this space are successful. Well, what about the other 95, 96%? And why are they not successful? Well, that is what we're solving for. We're creating education. We're creating access. We've created a business plan and model and community. So often people are unsuccessful in this space because one of the reasons they're unsuccessful is because it is confusing, and every day is drinking from a fire hose. And so what we've done is simplified that. We've simplified it. We've, again, creating a community of like-minded, and not just like-minded, but people with similar life experiences. So this is why, like right now, I'm going to speak to the people that are currently in the space. I'm speaking to the people that are advocating for these groups, whether groups like the Alliance of Channel Women or Cloud Girls, or they're serving these communities. And understand that people that are in your community that are wanting to create their own businesses, they're not winning. They're not being successful. And we could very much be the solution for that and the path to helping them to be successful. So I'm appealing now to all of those groups, to all of the suppliers and the TSDs out there. You have these folks in your community and they are floundering. You already know the numbers. people in general, those success numbers are low. What do you think they are for people that for women and people of color? So we've created a path, we've created a solution, and you need to send them to us. Now, our path to, or rather, the evaluation path, it's not. We're not. It's not. Our model is not like y'all's, meaning that it's not come one, come all. Like we have a very intentional plan. Nate, I'll let you speak to this around how we vet, how we set people up for success. We bring the right people in. Not be, and when I say right people in, I'm not saying that, people are bad people, but we've done the due diligence, we've done the work to know what it's going to take to be successful and created the competencies around that. Nate, can you speak to that?
Absolutely. I think first of all, it just starts with the competencies, as you mentioned. So it doesn't matter what your technical background is, what your professional background is. What matters is that you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities for us to be able to work with you and develop you in this space. But some of the prerequisites, you think about communication, you think about drive for results, you think about time management, the list goes on. We have about 10 competencies that we've identified that are key to success in this space and delivering customer success. The second piece is really around values. And we're very deliberate and intentional about our mission. We're very disciplined about it. And it becomes a filter or a lens through which we see the entire space. And so from that perspective, it's very important, not only that you have the skill and the ability, but that your core values align with our mission and vision. And so that's something that we have through a discovery process that we discuss at length. So that part is important. The last piece for me is really about understanding process and I would say customer intensity in this space, right? Having a tough skin, not being afraid of rejection are prerequisites. That's table stakes to sales anywhere. But in this space, embracing the Say Less Academy, it's really about listening, active listening, and understanding the discovery process. Those two things are key. If you can listen and ask the right questions, we can find a viable solution within our network. And so those are the things. When you talk about qualifications, it's a rigorous process in terms of both looking at the application, which you can get on legacytsd.com by the way, and inquire about. But it's also going through a rigorous screening process between the three of us who have combined over 60 years of experience. So that's where the process begins, and then once we've determined the cohort, which we've identified several folks who are going to be joining us, we then have a 90-day training plan, which I can talk about in a moment.
Kelly, from the perspective of someone that was deeply entrenched on the supplier side, I'd like you to speak to two things. One, the intention and specifically your intention and focus on the alignment of the suppliers that we brought in. And secondly, what I had just mentioned in terms of the success of partners and TAs in the space, having personally witnessed that yourself, or rather the high failure rate. Can you speak to kind of both of those?
Yeah, I'm going to speak to the second one and then layer into the first one because I think it'll validate why I chose the vendors that I chose. So the success rate, I was kind of chomping at the bit over here while you were talking about that because your lens is from the lens of being a TA or being an advisor for 20 something years in this space, right? My lens is from being on the vendor side of the house and supporting these business owners, entrepreneurs, these TAs as they are trying to sell the technology suite. And so what I've seen is that 20% of those partners make up 85, 90% of the actual business that comes in. So in your number of 100, where you're saying 10% are the ones that are actually successful, my number of 100 is maybe 20%. And this isn't even all just from the referral route to market that we're discussing. These are people that are actually white labeling it or putting it on their paper. These are folks who are actually doing implementation. So as you can imagine, that TA number is a little bit smaller. So I'd probably say somewhere around 12%. What happens with vendors though, when you have 20% or 12% of folks doing your number for you. And we had huge numbers. I mean, millions of dollars of numbers. You know, it's interesting because people hear telecommunications and they think that it's some small portion of the business. And it is a huge portion of the business because it's the foundation in which a company can communicate with their customers. So I digress from that. But essentially what I'm saying is that when I have a $20 million number I need to quote close for, you know, a quarter, I'm gonna run to that 12%, right? A traditional salesperson is gonna go hitch their wagon to the 12%. They're gonna go figure out how to work with these partners that have already done it, have already had success. They will very rarely go and pull out of that other bucket and try to help bring them up. And so, as I have seen, not only do the majority of those partners look like partners that we're not currently supporting, but also if there are women in those spaces, if they can get past the minutia, they're the ones that are at the table actually selling under someone else who is you know, they're representing someone else's business and brand. And then when they do decide to step out, then sometimes it's hard for them to get the support that they need when they do step out, even though they closed a multi-million dollar deal multiple times over. And so they just stay, right? So earlier I mentioned courage. And so it takes a lot of courage to step out and do that. So then if you step out and do that, and you come over here to Legacy and you look at the vendor partners that I've curated for our team, I specifically asked them point blank, what these partners understand technology. These partners understand the ecosystem. They understand customers, but they have not sold in this capacity before. What are your resources to ensure that they're going to be successful? What are your resources to ensure that they're going to have support within your organization? I want to know not only who the local channel manager is, I want to know who their sales support is, I want to know who their sales engineer is. I need to know what team you're going to build around these partners. And are you going to have the tenacity to work with a partner that might not have sold your technology before? Each one of the ones that were invited to do business with Legacy have said yes to that. They've actually had industry experience. I know that they can do it because we vetted them out from multiple ways and multiple people, multiple conversations. So, and we saw it in practice. And so for us, as I round out my commentary, it is about the pathway, it is about the support, but more importantly, it's about the community. Because when you're trying to lean into ownership, those organizations that you mentioned earlier with ACW and Cloud Girls, they do amazing things. Cloud Girls does um, they do a lot of education and training and certifications, right? And ACW is really about culture for women and what they should be doing as they are navigating their career set. What we're doing is we're going to help women figure out how to be owners, how to have the courage, how to put your business together. Now you have the courage, excuse me, how to put the business together, how to be successful in business with the right resources and the right community and partners around you. And so that's our niche, and that's where we're going to play really well.
Fantastic. Nate, so for those that are checking into this and want to be, they want to be considered for a cohort, what's next? What do they do?
So you go to legacytsd.com and submit an application. From there, your application is reviewed and either goes to the next step or not. Once the application has been reviewed and we'd like to interview you, you schedule interviews through Calendly. The interviews consist of one-on-ones with each of the three of us. We get together and provide feedback on each of the candidates, and then typically at that point make a decision of moving forward or not. Once you move forward, you're welcome to cohort one, and we have that kind of in a holding pen because again, we believe that we will serve no wine before it's time, and we believe in the value of community. So from the perspective of, having 3 or 4 in the cohort, we really like 7 to 10. So the point is that we want each of the cohort members to benefit from the experience of the team, right? This is about learning from successes as it is from failures. This is about learning other people's strengths that may be in some of your potential blind spots or development opportunities. And this is about building long-lasting relationships. A lot of times replicating success is repeating what others do and learning to master that repetition. well. And so having that support in the sense of community and creating a safe environment to ask questions and to discover and learn together is very, very powerful. I know I wouldn't have gotten through college, for example, in chemical engineering if I did not have William Rigsby on my left and Chris Murray on my right, who are my dear friends to this day. And so it's another example of building community and building relationships over time.
I think a couple of things really quick from that I want people to recognize because we use this word cohort a lot, not we, the world in general, and what that actually means. My son just started his master's program at Clemson, right? And it's a cohort based program. 20 something students were accepted for this, right? They're going to go through their whole master's program together. So what that means is not only, again, that sort of community aspect and that shared experience, but what happens after they get through the cohort. Well, these are people that are going to network together. These are people that are going to continue, that are all going on the same path, right? But now they have this common thread that's going to keep them together and help themselves stay energized and focused and motivated after the education ends. So for us, that's what this is really about when we talk about a cohort model. We're starting and we're initiating the relationship. We're always, as their TSD, going to be there to support, but it's really those group of people that they're going through with that are going to be such important members of their community and their business peer group. Having built multiple businesses and done that without a peer group, it is hard. It's very hard. And that's one of the reasons why so many people quit, is because they feel like they're on an island. So what we're doing is you're going to be on an island, but you're on Gilligan's Island, okay? And so you that's a reference that we just lost half the people. But you're going to be on Gilligan's Island. So there's seven other people there for you, or with you. And that's another thing. You touched on the number, Nate. So the number is very important to us. A lot of business cohorts tend to be in those 20-ish range. When we sat down and decided the size that we wanted our cohorts, we wanted them to be 7 to 10. That's it. We wanted to be intimate. We wanted to be really impactful for everyone, right? I feel like when you get those bigger numbers, you're going to have some clicking going on, and some people that are out here. You've got 7 to 10 people that are coming together every single week. I feel like there'll be a much tighter knit group. Kelly, suppliers. I know, again, our goal and our focus is to not have we don't need a diner store or diner menu of suppliers. That's not our goal. Our focus is to have very strategic partnerships and relationships that are also very intimate and align go-to-market strategies. Can you speak just briefly to how people can apply and what your process is for vetting them?
Yeah, look, we only have a few more spots left for vendor partners. To your point, even with the cohort size, I'm not looking for the 300 plus odd suppliers that some of the TSDs have, right? We probably want no more than 15 or 20. And even that's going to be a very small number. Right now, we're looking at telecom expense management. So Tim, I might be open to another connectivity or infrastructure partner as well. For voice and communications, we kind of have the two partners that we're going to rock with. Cybersecurity, if there's someone out there from a cybersecurity perspective that is going to deal with SMB and commercial size customers, we can help with that too. But from an AI and automation perspective, I think we're good. So for me, those are the partners that we're looking for, but I need you, again, I want to know what your team looks like, what's your track record with helping small partners, small TAs in this space, and not small in the mindset, but smaller in they're getting ramped up. And so there's a little bit more hand holding that's going to be done there. We're going to do some coffee hours, the presentations, obviously, and there's going to be a lot of questions. I need that to be some open communication. So I need you to have time for that. And know that your investment is certainly going to pay off. So to me, we need those types of attitudes and really that experience level when we're going to, when I'm adding in another vendor into the space. So.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Nate. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, we're really excited about this expansion. And for those of you that want to get involved and maybe don't even know how you can get involved, the best way you can do is just reach out. Go to legacytsd.com and let us figure out where you fit. But one thing we know is that we're doing something that's never been done before. And so we need all hands on deck. Anyone that wants to be involved, that feels like they have something to offer, whether it's from a supplier standpoint, a advocate standpoint, a referral partner, whatever, again, bring it to us and we'll figure out where you can fit in this story, in this journey. So as we close, any final words, Nate or Kelly?
No, great job. I think, tons of momentum, and the announcement is, again, a maturation. It's a natural progression towards our mission. Should feel natural, should feel organic for everyone. So please join us.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
was just gonna say the same thing from the announcement that we had. It just hopes that that shows everyone how inclusive we are as an organization, and how we know that there is a place for you here at Legacy, whether you're Black, a woman, a person of color. You all have relationships, influence, and strong business rapport with your customers, with your community. Come on over, join our community, because we can help you focus that and that experience into an investment into your legacy.
Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate your time and hope to see you as part of our journey.